Hey, welcome back to Non Sequitur. My shopping trip was very fast. And thank God for 24-hour gas stations. I want to talk a little bit more about that space project still. Once my life has settled down some, I'm going to make the rocket candy and test that out somewhere to see what kind of lift I can get off based off of like thrust versus weight and stuff that I'm probably going to have to find calculations for online, because my half-ass classes that I've taken on it probably aren't going to do much. But after I get a good enough ratio at that to at the very least hit upper atmosphere, if not leave it, I'm intending to send a closed bottle terrarium, is what I think they're called most of the time. Man, this thing does not want to focus properly. Effectively, a closed bottle terrarium is a small amount of compost and soil for the plant's starter. Make sure you don't have any seeds that you don't want in there. And typically speaking, some kind of vine growing plant. Spider lily is the most common, and probably what I'm going to do too. Send and a decent amount of water, not enough to be directly harmful to the plant when it's just starting out, but in theory you're able to completely seal up the terrarium. That's the closed bottle bit of it, so that I'm going to attempt to make it airtight as opposed to just the usual watertight. Like the most famous most famous closed bottle terrarium is also airtight, I think, and it's been going for like just shy of 100 years, or maybe just over 100 years. I don't know. Person almost got hit because they tried to pull out too far to turn when there are fucking cars coming. But if I can make a decently sized one that can get to upper atmosphere, in theory, if I did it right, I could just have that plant going in orbit around the planet. If I did some more research and were willing to set up some magnets on the bottle, I could even put it in a geosynchronous orbit, where it effectively stays in one place over the planet constantly, which is what they do with most satellites, because otherwise we'd never be able to use the satellites for anything, But if I can get a decent one of those going, just at least up to upper atmosphere, then with some improved fuel and rocket design, because I'm going to be real, my first design isn't super great, but it necessarily doesn't have to be. It's kind of designed, like, well, it's not designed to be bad, but it's designed in mind that this is a first type at most. That's assuming it ever actually gets off the ground. And if I can do that, then I would try and find I guess Siberian or Arctic based plant that would work in a closed terrarium, and try and hook that at the moon effectively, so that, like, it wouldn't be that impressive because it would still have to be a very small bottle, but if I managed to successfully do that, I would theoretically be the first person to ever get a plant on the moon, or grow a plant on the moon. In theory, there was a small amount of Earth dust on like Apollo and Neil Armstrong when they touched that on the moon, but that doesn't really count. The plant, by the way, would need to be used to the extremely cold temperatures. In theory, a smart idea would be to put in some microbes instead of trying to grow a plant, and with some compost, and kind of just see if they'll naturally evolve in that closed system. But my worry is if I did something like that, they would depend on something like oxygen, and that would run out. Not quickly, but it would run out. Maybe too fast for them to adapt to. But that's something for me to look into. Because I'm not super content with just, oh, I hit the moon. I don't necessarily want to change it, but I want the possibility of change to be there. But whatever, all these are pipe dreams until my life stables out. But thanks for listening, if anyone's even listening.